what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media. Why did StreamYard do this? You can make custom layouts, or sometimes it kind of messes me up here or there. Let's do this one right here. That's a little bit better. But let me full screen myself for a second. Hey, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. In fact, let's try to hit it before football season starts back up in the fall. I know we still got about, 3 or 4 months. I know we can do it. I'll keep putting out content. You guys keep showing up, showing out, and sharing out the content for me. I really would appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into Florida State. What did they do last season? Well, last season they went 9-3 overall in the regular season, 10-3 overall for the season as a whole, 5-3 in the ACC. But the key thing about Florida State, they bring so much back this next season in 2023, and they won their last 6 games, won the last 5 of the regular season. All of them were pretty much blowouts except for Florida, where they won by 7. And they beat Oklahoma and Brent Venables 35-32. They showed in those last 2 games against the better opponents, they can struggle. But they also showed that they can win a big-time football game against a rival in Florida and against a bowl opponent in the Oklahoma Sooners. So I'm really excited. I am one of the guys out there, one of the many people, I would say many people, that are high on Florida State this year and probably jumping on the they're going to the playoffs train, or they're winning the ACC train. I expect them to do all that, but I'm not going to be the biggest homer in the world, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, okay, it's a given. It's not a given. Everything is earned in football, much like life, and they got to go out and they got to prove it. But I think they kind of proved that they can compete last year. You look at what they bring back. My goodness, Jordan Travis, over 3,000 yards last year. Got to clean up the offensive line, though. He did take 15 sacks for a total lost yards in 117. He threw 5 interceptions, but he threw 24 touchdowns, which is really good. So you bring back some wide receivers and Akeem Dent, or he's a defensive back, I'm sorry, but I've heard a lot about him. We can mention him real quick. Akeem Dent, a redshirt senior from Pahokee, Florida, Palm Beach Central High School. Defensive back, 6'1", 195. Trey Benson comes back as a redshirt junior from Greenville, Mississippi. He's 6'1", 221. He's going to be a key factor in the run game. Of course, Jared Verse, who could be the top defensive player taken in the 2024 draft. He comes back as a redshirt junior. Jared Verse, number 5 on the defensive line. Dennis Briggs is a redshirt senior on the defensive line. I could go down the list. I don't want to go through every single player, but I will say this: the amount of production that Florida State brings back this season is absolutely incredible, phenomenal. The talent is there. The question is the coaching there with Mike Norvell? After what they did this past season, there's a lot of expectations for them after getting 10 wins in 2022. There's a lot of expectation for 2023. Now, they don't have to go out and win a national title or anything, but I think the expectation is beat Clemson, win, and make it to the ACC championship and potentially win the ACC championship. And let me double check on something. I should have checked this out before I started recording. I think isn't the ACC, because I know we're slowly with this conference realignment and everything. Um, the ACC for 2023, I believe, is getting rid of their divisions. I could be wrong on that. If they aren't, uh, just let me know in the comments below. But if they still have divisions this year, Florida State's looking to be at the top of the Atlantic over Clemson, over teams like Syracuse. They got to get through NC State. They got to get past that. And then they got to beat whoever comes out of the Coastal. Now, if there's not divisions, then they just got to win the ACC and beat everybody they play. With that being said, speaking of, let's go ahead and get into their schedule real quick because I'm very excited. Um, I will say this. There's a lot of teams I'm high on this year. There's a lot of teams. Like, it's not going to be just Alabama, just Georgia, just Ohio State. No, 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 no. There's a lot of great competition, even coming out of the ACC. And Florida State is just one of those teams. They opened the season with the LSU Tigers, the SEC West champs. Then they got to go play Southern Miss at home, at Boston College, at Clemson. Those are back-to-back road games. We'll get into that a little bit later, possibly talk about a loss in that mix. They get a bye week September 30th. And they don't have a week 0. They have a week 1 on Labor Day weekend, Sunday, September 3rd, in Orlando with LSU. So they get their bye week pretty early on. They get the bye week. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, all at home. Duke is homecoming. At Wake Forest, at Pitt, back-to-back games there. Could be a trap in there. We'll see. Miami, North Alabama Lions. Holy cow. I'm just now seeing this schedule as a whole. I've only gotten a glance at it, but North Alabama, I know who I'll be pulling for there. I'm actually, side note, actually looking to go to school in Florence, Alabama at North Alabama. And they do have a football team. I'm very excited. Gonna finish at Wallace State, and then UNA is probably on the top of my list of schools to go to. I do want to stay in the state of Alabama and go for communications. So anyway, getting back on track, they play Miami, they play North Alabama, then they close it out on the road in Gainesville. That being said, do I see any trap games? I show you trap games with Pitt on the road, Miami at home, and at Florida. These are games that they should win. They should be favored, but they could lose. Clemson is not on this list because I think Clemson should probably win that game. If it were up to me, which it's not, I would probably favor Florida State over Clemson. But the reality is that Clemson is a better program and they're a better team, and they'll probably be a better team this year. We will see. So the trap games at Pitt, Miami, and at Florida, all late in the season in November. Possible upsets, I mentioned Clemson. You have Clemson this year, Florida State, on the road. Now, you come off a road game in Boston College, then you got to go travel to Clemson the very next week. That could be some traps in there. Are they overlooking Boston College for Clemson? I did not put Boston College on the trap game list. I apologize for that. But now that I look at this schedule, you have LSU, then you play Southern Miss. Shout out to Sippy Sports Show. But they'll beat Southern Miss pretty easily. At Boston College, I expect them to win that game. But if they're not careful, if they're overlooking them for Clemson the following week, that could be their first loss of the season, and it could come very early for the Florida State Seminoles. So they bring back so much production. Teams like Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Duke, those are the middle tier ACC type of teams. Florida State on the better end of the ACC this season. They should beat all three of them. At Wake, Wake Forest has fielded good teams this year. Although losing Sam Hartman, they got to figure out a quarterback situation there at Wake Forest at Winston-Salem. I don't know what to expect from that. I haven't looked at Wake Forest yet, but they are on the list. Maybe that's a team we do during conference week in June. Maybe that's a team we preview then, but I don't really know too much about Wake Forest. The only thing I know about Wake Forest is that they are a program that's knocking on the door of an ACC title and kind of getting up there a little bit. However, anything's possible for them this year. They could disappoint. And especially they got to figure out the quarterback situation with the loss of Sam Hartman, who's at Notre Dame. At Pitt, Pitt's pretty good at winning the Coastal Division on occasion. They can field good teams. That could possibly be a trap game. Back-to-back road games with Wake and Pitt. Miami could be a trap. It's a big rivalry game. And Florida on the road is a rivalry game as well. We'll see what Billy Napier does late in the season to get ready for Florida State. Okay, the possible upset only game that I consider them not to be favored in is Clemson. And I'll just go ahead and give you a record prediction too. As high as I am on Florida State, I think they could knock on the door to the CFP and get back in for the first time since 2014. Now, I know you're going to say that I'm riding that train and I'm, just buying into the hype. But I really think they have some of the best returning production in the country this season. They seriously do. Jared Verse, Jaheim Bell, AJ. Well, I'm not going to mention him. He's a backup quarterback. I was fixing to say AJ Duffy. Y'all would have been like, who? Akeem Dent, Trey Benson, Jordan Travis. These are guys that you're going to watch on the field for Florida State this season. And this is a returning production that they need, that they do bring back, and that could ultimately lead them to the next steps. So, that being said, we'll give a record prediction. I honestly see them at most 11-1. I do not think they go 12-0. I will not buy that. But the at most record prediction this season could be only one loss if they play their cards right, if they're careful, and their only loss, I see it being to the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swinney and Cade Klubnik and everybody down there in Death Valley. Peter Woods, shout out to Peter Woods. It was great to go to his commitment last July. Holy cow, I'm excited to see him on an actual football field this year, man. He's a beast. But their lone loss will be to Clemson this season. That is my prediction. And I give them 11-1. That being said, that's all I got for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Comment your record predictions for Florida State down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Jesus loves you. I love you guys. God bless. And from an Alabama fan, roll Tide. We'll see you.